Hello everyone, welcome to Crypto Coffee Club. Today I'm diving deep into the Bitcoin charts, as many of the things that I've been calling out in my previous videos and live streams have started to play out quite nicely. So on my live stream the other week I got quite excited because we saw price forming a lower low on the daily time frame and a higher high on the momentum oscillator in the same momentum wave. So this is a bullish divergence on the daily time frame. And what else I found interesting was that this was taking place in the golden pocket. So between these two Fibonacci levels, the 61.8 and the 78.6, we looked back in that video and we saw the last two times this had happened in this nature. Bitcoin was at $50,000 and $25,000 before that. So this is a significant indicator, and I did say that price doesn't go immediately upwards when this happens. We usually see some sideways, maybe a little bit further down, but then price does always dramatically move to the upside soon afterwards. So that was an interesting indicator for us, and it's why we've been very bullish on the price of Bitcoin ever since. Now you may be thinking, okay, what's next for the price of Bitcoin? So what else can we look at in the charts to give us an idea of what could happen? What's very interesting is if you look down here at the money flow indicator, which is this red wave here, we've had a period of sustained money flow in the negative, and it's now crossed into the positive above the zero line, and it's now positive. It's a green money flow wave. Now, the last few times this has happened, we can look back in the charts and see how significant this can be for the price of Bitcoin. So, as you can see here, this was a period of sustained negative in the money flow. It's not as clean and as even as the wave we're seeing today, but what you can see here is when money flow finally crossed into the green, into the positive, and stayed up there, we saw a sustained move to the upside in price here. This is the last time this happened. Price was around $64,000. We came into this positive zone of money flow. Price did come down a little bit afterwards, but we formed a nice W pattern, and yeah, we shot all the way up to the all-time high of 108,000 with some exchanges. And looking back at previous examples, we see another fantastic one here of how significant this money flow indicator is. I will show you now. So we have here a wave of sustained negative money flow like this, and we finally cross into the green, into the positive here. And last time this happened, we crossed over and price was at around just under $30,000. And again, we saw a sustained move to the upside afterwards, all the way up to a high there of around $69,000, $70,000. So the fact that we've now entered the green again on the daily time frame with money flow, I'm extremely bullish. I'm going to be putting in my long-term low leverage positions on Bitcoin, because yes, we may go sideways down a little bit from here, but I think these huge indicators are showing us that there's significant upside to be had in the price of Bitcoin. Another significant indicator we have is the 200 MA line, the 200 moving average line, which you can see here. Now, we've finally had a sustained breakout above it. So you can see for the past few weeks, we've been battling with this 200 MA line. And now we've seen this sustained break above it and some sideways action. So if we could even retest this 200 MA line. However, we could just go up from here. But as soon as we see that confident breakout above this price range, I think we have serious upside in the price of Bitcoin to be had. Again, let's go back to see when this last happened. Here we have our 200 MA line. We see price action gravitating around it. It becomes support, it becomes resistance, and we see finally here a sustained breakout above it, quite similar to what we see now. And then, of course, afterwards, we saw a clean break all the way up to all-time high of over $100,000. So we're seeing a few long-term indicators here which are suggesting some serious upside to be had in the price of Bitcoin. I know many of you are day traders, as I am myself, so let's look over at the shorter term time frames to see how we could catch these moves and make some returns on some maybe high leverage short-term day trades. Now, if you look at my previous videos, I have a very simple strategy when it comes to day trading and making returns. I use a few indicators. I use the momentum oscillators here on market cipher B. I use the Stonksy indicator, which is this red and green background here. Now, I look for a few things when it comes to my day trades. I look for price coming lower, the momentum oscillators making a higher high, so a bullish divergence. I look for price activating around a key level, and then I look for the Stonksy indicator to go green to suggest a buy. So if we zoom in here, we're on the 3-minute time frame, a time frame I like to trade on with my day trades, and you can see that playing out perfectly here. So this was a great opportunity to use my strategy to make significant upside on this trade. So you can see here these key levels drawn out by the Stonksy indicator. We have a area of support, price forming a lower low, the momentum oscillator forming a higher high, so we have a bullish divergence. We have a close above the 20 MA, which is another key thing with my strategy, which you'll see in my previous videos. And we have the Stonksy indicator going green. So we could have entered the trade here, and as I like to do, I take profit along the way and always hold out a little bit into the trade as well. So you can see here, we had just all of this play out, price forming a lower low, the higher high, Stonksy going green, and a sustained close above this 20 MA level. And now, if you'd held this position, we would have taken profits at these key levels here of price action, which are easily drawn out for you by the Stonksy indicator now. I previously used to go back and manually draw lines of support and resistance where there's been significant price action to exit my trades, but this does it for me now, so it enables me to be a little bit lazier. And if we'd held this trade till today, we could be in significant profit still. We've had an upside of around 0.89%, which, when you add on leverage, that can be quite a decent return. So overall, we can see some significant movements taking place in the charts with Bitcoin on the long term. The short-term charts are also looking quite strong. And what we can do on a day-to-day basis is look at these 1 and 3 minute time frames, look for the key bullish divergences around areas of support and resistance, combine it with a bullish divergence, Stonksy going green, and placing those long positions. You can do the reverse of that. However, I'm always reserved about shorting in bull markets, and I believe we are in a bull market now. However, if you reverse the conditions and do the same with a bearish divergence, there's also returns to be made as well. If you would like me to look at any other tokens using these strategies and this analysis, please put them in the comments below. And please support the channel by signing up with the links in the description.